Elisa, thank you so much for buying my meal today. Your little sister sure is really cute, isn't she?
Sam is really cute. But what is going on right now? Coming over to the house and standing there with Dad, dragging along a little girl you're calling my little sister. What did you even have to say to my dad? It's been so long since the last time you both have spoken, and I'm not sure he's too happy to see you back around. When Grandma found out you were out there, she called the police on you, didn't she?
So that old hag is still alive?
Do not call my grandma that. To me, she's pretty much my mother after you left. The real old hag in this situation is you now.
What? I happen to always look like I'm at least 10 years younger than I really am.
Take a look at reality for me, please. You are far into your later years now, and it's showing. Also, I think you've really gone and ticked off Dad by coming here out of nowhere today. So from now on, please don't do things like that again. I just got back home and he is pacing back and forth murmuring about how you have the nerve to do something like that.
Why is he mad at me? I just came all the way out here to see my daughter is all. I honestly didn't want to see him at all, but he was at the house with you.
Are you kidding me? You have no right coming out here to see me when you were the one that never took care of me in the first place. All because you were out sleeping with other men. If you really wanted to meet me today, then you would have asked me first and set up a time to meet somewhere that is not my grandma's home. But honestly, I wouldn't have wanted to go out and meet you anywhere else anyway. And the only reason I took you away from the house to go have something to eat was to keep the little one away from being involved in any of your trouble. If you're happily married to another man now, then don't come back here to bother us.
I'm not married right now, but there were plans to get married before. But I had the little girl a little bit before we planned to be married, which led to this massive fight where we both ended up going our separate ways and never got married.
I see. Well, that man made the right choice, I think.
And just when I was starting to think you'd grown to be a nice little girl again, you say something rude like that. I came all the way out here to come and see you, and this is how you're treating me?
You were the one that came out here yourself. I never asked for you to come back, so shut it.
Well, when I had talked with Sam about how she has an older sister, she started to ask about you more, always asking me to take her to you.
This time you're taking care of her properly, right? None of that crap you did to me anymore, right?
Well, of course I am. I'm sure you can tell by just looking at her, but for being in only 4th grade, she's a real beauty, right? I would never leave a cutie like her alone.
Is that right?
When you were her age, you were so easy to forget about because of how unattractive you looked. But to see that you become such a decent-looking young woman, I'm shocked.
Are you trying to cause trouble here? If all you're trying to do is make fun of me here, then don't ever talk to me again.
Then why haven't you gotten around to blocking my number yet? And just a bit ago, you got Sam's phone number from her, right? I'm thinking that being able to meet with me today really made you happy.
I'm not happy about it, and the reason I got her number from her is in case we ever need to talk more. Also, the only reason I haven't gone and blocked your number yet is to keep you from talking with Dad.
Why would I ever want to talk with your dad? I don't have any interest in that serious and emotionless man you call your father.
But right after the divorce, you were texting him and calling him over and over again about how you needed money, right?
Don't tell me the reason he stopped replying to me was because of you.
Dad is too nice. So back when I was in middle school, I made him promise me to never ever talk to you again. And I made him block your numbers and all your social media accounts.
Huh. After all the hardships of birthing you, you've really turned into quite a jerk. Your mom is so sad because of that.
Would you stop calling yourself my mom already? I do not think of you as anything more than an annoyance now.
Elisa, are you that stubborn in the workplace as well? In this world, being that kind of stubborn is not a very good thing. You need to become a little more open-minded in order to make yourself look decent.
I don't want to hear that from someone like you. And to be honest, you're the only person I'm this stubborn with. The reason for that is because you're a walking disaster.
You really just keep it coming with all of the mean comments about your mom, don't you? In the past, you've always said how much you loved me. In order to keep Samantha from never ending up as the cold person you have, I'm going to raise her right.
Go ahead. And that means you're going to actually need to worry about her and treat her like a human being. Unlike the way you treated me back in elementary school.
Yeah, understood. Anyway, glad I got to see your face today. Congrats on finding yourself a job. I wonder what you'll be buying me with that first check you receive.
Well, What kind of ridiculous things are you saying now? The only thing I'm thankful for is you giving birth to the child you had with Dad. Besides that, you are nothing more than a stranger to me. Now, you never come around our house again, you freak.
Elisa, let's go out to eat this month.
I'm not going out to eat with you again.
What? But Sam keeps going on about how she wants to see you again. Is it okay to say no to her like that?
And I've told her the reason why I say no. That's because I don't want to see you anymore.
You don't have to meet me any, as long as you meet with her. Right now, she's not having much luck making friends at school, so she's all on her own right now.
She's not making any friends? Why not?
Well, it's probably because she's too pretty for everyone there. They may all be in 4th grade, but young girls like her are the worst when it comes to playing nice. They always think about themselves and get jealous when another girl is better than them.
If she's having problems with friends at school, then why don't you go and tell the school about it?
Even if I tried that, they wouldn't be able to do anything. The only person that can do anything is Sam herself. I was in the same boat as her when I was that age. Too beautiful for any of the girls in my grade, which led to me never making any friends. This is just how it is to be naturally beautiful.
I don't think it was because of your looks that you were never able to make any friends back then.
Oh, God. You seem to know so much about your own mother.
Well, you and Sam are two completely different people. I was only able to meet with her one time, but compared to you, I can tell she doesn't mean any harm. She doesn't center the whole world around herself like you.
Is that what you think? Well, I suppose she didn't get everything from me, did she? Unlike the way you were born, acting all tough and direct about your feelings like me, she doesn't ever talk back to me.
Don't compare me to you. I'm nothing like you at all, okay? I get that I might have some of your genetics, but the people that raised me into the woman I am was my dad and my grandma, as well as the rest of the good people around me.
Sure. So, are you going to let Sam meet with you again? You both are sisters, after all. Also, Sam doesn't have any friends of her own right now. She's all alone. You would never turn away your poor little sister in her time of need, right?
I feel bad for her situation, but I don't really want to meet her. I'm afraid that by meeting with her more, you will use that as a way of talking to me more often, and I don't really like that.
Then can I tell Sam? Tell her that her older sister hates her? And that's the reason why you don't want to meet her?
Huh? Are you freaking kidding me? I never said that I don't want to meet her because I hate her.
Then please go and meet with her. I want you to have a cute little sister to bond with.
I do not want her to be around me, okay?
But you're becoming an adult now, right? It's the responsibility of an adult to help lonely and sad kids out when they're in need.
Then why don't you be her friend? Or are you not aware of how to do that? I'm sure you're not, because when I was her age and was feeling lonely, you would leave the house to go have sex with another man.
Oh no. Don't tell me you're still upset about all of that. Perhaps you're jealous of Sam because I'm taking good care of her. Oh my, you really aren't like an adult at all.
It's not about that, okay?
Then tell me what this is all about, Elisa. All I can tell is that you're jealous of her, and that's why you're picking on her like this.
Hey, I'm asking you to please screw off and leave me alone. The only reason I took you out to eat the other time is because you had Sam with you. If it was just you that came over that day, then I would have let the police take you away. I wanted to be like more of a mother than you, so be happy that I was kind enough to care for Sam's feelings then. What the hell do you want from all this?
I don't want anything, really. I just feel it would be great for Sam to have an older sister like you around her is all.
So this is just about her then? You don't seem to care at all about how I feel. You have not changed one bit from your past self.
You are becoming an adult now, so you should just let go of everything that happened in the past. So, are you going to meet with Sam? Or are you not going to meet with her? If you're not going to meet with her, I'll make sure she never wants to see you again by telling her you hate her. Is that what you want?
Stop threatening me like that.
Elisa, I happen to know what's really going on here. You are too nice to let something like that happen. So, you're going to meet with Sam again for me, right? The last time when Sam got to see you, it made herself and myself so happy. I understand that you hate me enough to not want anything to do with me, but you don't have anything against her, right?
I understand that I have nothing against her.
So then, you'll meet with her, right? I'll let her know that right now, so later on you both talk about what you guys want to do together. And by the way, her birthday is coming up, so take her out and buy her something nice, please. She'd be so happy about that.
Stop deciding things for me, you freak! I never said I would meet with her yet.
Don't worry, you're going to meet with her. I'll get in touch with you again when I need something else. Please have a fun time with her, all right?
Sam, were you just trying to call me? I'm sorry for not picking up. I'm out of the house right now and I didn't realize you had been calling me at the time. Is something going on?
Elisa?
What's wrong?
Elisa, help me. I've only been able to drink water. I want you to give me some money, please.
What do you mean you've only been able to drink water? What? Where's your mom?
She left me here and moved away.
Huh? She moved out of that house? What? Why?
She said it was a bother having a child from a previous relationship. She said that and then left me all alone here.
You're joking, right? Just wait a second. How long have you been alone for?
5 days.
All right. I'm going to come over there right now. Do you know what your address is?
I know what it is. I'm sorry if I'm causing you any trouble.
You're not causing me any kind of trouble. I'm sorry about that horrible person. You should have never had to call a person like that your mother. I'm sure it's been very hard living with her.
It has always been scary living with her, so I'm okay. But this time, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm sorry. If you could just give me some money, I'll take care of myself.
Samantha, you don't have to struggle on your own anymore. First, I'm going to have you come live at my house.
I can't do that. If you can just give me some money, I'll be able to take care of myself.
I don't think you'll be able to, though. You're far too young to be living on your own right now, so please, just come back to my house with me. You're only in elementary school still and shouldn't have to live like that.
I can do this myself. I was told I have to figure things out on my own. If I don't, she'll get mad at me again.
Sam, when you're having problems, it's okay to ask an adult for help. I'm sure that you can't trust everything I'm saying right now because we haven't known one another that long, but I want you to live a better life than what that monster was giving you. I want you to have fun and be happy.
But I'm not a part of your family. I don't want to make you upset too.
I will say this over and over if I have to. You are not going to make me upset. You are not a problem to me. You are my little sister, and I want to take care of you. You're going to be okay. How about you come back home with me, and we can think about what's happened some more there. You have really gone and done it now, you witch. Once again, you've gone and thrown away your child.
What? Did you get a call from Sam about this?
I did.
Thank goodness. I have not been able to get anything from her this whole time. I thought she had passed away or something, and I didn't know what was going to happen.
What? Why are you laughing?
It's not that. I was worried this whole time about her. Sam happens to be a pretty strong little girl for her age. Like you, she won't ever complain to me.
Since she wouldn't complain, you thought that was good enough reason to leave her behind? I should have curb-stomped your head the last time I saw you.
But the fact that she's okay still is great. She really is like her dad. And you've been taking care of her now, right?
Is that all you have to say about this? Are you not even sorry for what you've done to her?
I did a good job raising her to the age of 10, so she shouldn't have anything to complain about. Not like she complained even if there was a problem.
You did a good job raising her? How the hell was any of that a good job, you idiot? When I went to your house to get her, the whole place was trashed and looked like it had been abandoned for years. And she's been wearing the same frickin' clothes since the last time I saw her. She wasn't even taking a bath anymore and would just wash her head in the sink from time to time. And from what she told me, the only food she's been getting is your leftovers, right?
It's a busy life being a single mother.
You're no mother, you jerk. Don't you dare tell me you've been too busy to care for her when you don't even care about her to begin with. All you are is hopeless, nothing else. The only thing you're good at is making babies, and that's it. What a witch.
What? Are you going to complain now? If that's all you want to do, then I don't have time to listen to you. Luckily, you took the brat off my hands, so I can just block you now. I think that's what I'll do.
You really are a hopeless human. Not human, but pile of crap. After all you've done with your life, I hope you rot in a prison somewhere.
Huh? A prison? What are you trying to say about me now?
I already called the police about this.
Huh? Why would you do that?
Because you have been mistreating your child.
Listen, do not start wasting my time with the police over something that is between family members. The last fight I had with my boyfriend was the worst, but even then we both agreed to not do anything about one another after. Sure, you may have found yourself a good job now, but you still know nothing about how adults handle things.
When did that happen? When did you get into that fight with your boyfriend last? Because from what I heard, things ended differently. And I think you're going to be put under arrest now.
Why? I've not been doing anything wrong here. I never even raised my hands to anyone.
The fact that you don't do anything and leave your child to die is the problem here. You have to understand that there is something mentally wrong with you, right? You've done something that is very much not okay and can get you placed in prison for it. I'm sure you knew all that, though. And that's why you ran away, hoping I'd go and get Samantha at some point before something worse happened.
Elisa, I'm in a bit of trouble myself, all right? That was not a choice I wanted to make. But I think it's much better that you take care of her now instead of me, right?
So you made the choice to just leave the house and her?
To be honest, I was going to ask you to take her for me.
Bullcrap. How come you never called a foster home or something before you just left her in that house with nothing but water to drink for 5 days? Maybe I know why you didn't call. It's because you knew that they would ask you about what's happened to make you give up a 10-year-old girl, and after hearing your excuses, they might now take her. You knew that would happen.
I didn't know about that.
If you're not able to be a mother and care for her, then you could have at least handed her to someone that is able to do so before leaving. What the hell is your problem? What do you think of Sam? I don't want to have to compare things to her, but what you've done is 10 times worse than what you did to me. Sam had nobody else in that house to help her. No father that would come home later that day to discover his wife had left them.
I had no other options, all right? I haven't been able to talk with her father recently. Honestly, you all should be thanking me for taking care of her up until recently, all right?
You haven't been able to talk with her dad anymore? I'm not sure that's the case. From what I've heard, Sam's real father wasn't even your boyfriend. He was another man you slept with before you decided you wanted to get married to your current boyfriend.
Huh? Why do you know about that?
Because for a little while, Sam was able to meet with her real father. And for the past few weeks, I've been working to uncover what's been going on with you. That's why I know that at this moment, you're with yet another man who you're living with now. I'm going to tell your new man about all of this, and then the police will take your ass to jail. I was just on the phone with the police a second ago, and they said they'll be on their way to talk with you real soon. If you try to run away from them, you'll only be making the punishment worse on yourself.
Wait, 1 second. I still haven't told my current boyfriend that I have a child, and it looks like the two of us have a chance of getting married, so stop all that.
You're going to jail, so there isn't going to be any getting married. You really are such a freaking idiot. All you care about is yourself, you witch.
Hey, Elisa, please. Tell the police that you got it all wrong. Tell them I became sick and had to go to the hospital or something. Just make up some kind of excuse for me.
That's all over with now.
All right, how about you just give me Sam back, and I'll do a better job of taking care of her this time. I won't throw her out like that again. And from now on, I'll never bother you or your dad again.
I don't believe a single word of what you're saying to me right now. I have not forgotten what you did to me back when I was so young. You left me at home all by myself while Dad was away for business, and I had to take care of myself for 2 days before he got back. And you did all that because you were too lazy to be a real mother, and ran off to your new man in order to have a better life with him. Back then, I was afraid of what would happen to me, and those memories will never be forgotten. I didn't even have any food to eat then, and there was no such thing as a smartphone yet. I didn't have any way to call anyone. The only way I was able to keep myself alive was by running to Grandma's house to save myself. And I still remember all of that like it was yesterday.
And back then, I just needed to go get some money was all.
Shut it. I don't want to listen to you go on anymore. The police and I are in front of your boyfriend's place right now. Your life of being a half-assed mother ends today. You are never going to live life as you've known it in this world again, you frickin' witch. Right after that, the police began to knock at the door of her boyfriend's apartment, and before she could answer them, they were opening the door on her. She ran into the bathroom of the apartment screaming and begging for them to give her one more chance. but none of the officers were going to have any of it. She had locked herself in there, so it took some handwork from the policeman to finally break the door down and get out of the apartment. Outside, she was immediately put into handcuffs and walked out to be put into a police car before getting taken to the local police station. I was standing out there watching all of this go down, and as she was being walked to the car, she started screaming at me, saying I'm going to rot in hell for ruining her chance of getting married again, as well as calling me a terrible daughter to her, which is strange because I already made it clear that I wasn't her daughter anymore. After a night of staying there, she was then moved to a prison where she's living her life as we speak for the crimes she committed. Unfortunately, however, since what she'd done didn't lead to any direct harm to Sam, she most likely will only spend a year or so there before being let out on parole. When she was getting taken away by the police that day, her boyfriend had pulled up to ask what was going on. I explained to him everything that she'd done, and this left him in shock. But not as much as she was hoping for, as they hadn't been together long enough for him to feel any true connection to her. Honestly, he was more surprised about the state of his apartment when he walked back in there, and didn't even realize that his girlfriend had that much energy in her to create a mess like that. Although he was the one pretty shocked by the state his apartment was left in that day, I was in even more shock myself when talking to the police after the car carrying the witch had left. The officer explained to me that, unfortunately, even though she was going to be charged with a few things related to child neglect and things like that, none of it was serious enough to keep her in jail a long time. I feel as though someone who is that horrible of a human being to her kids should face some of the worst punishments imaginable. But myself and the rest of the family have made sure that when she does get out of prison, none of us will go near her. And we've even been able to get a restraining order on her so that she can't come within 500 feet of the property. So I guess I feel a little bit better about that. I'm really not sure if she's going to learn anything about what she did while in that prison. But at least with all of this, Sam no longer has to be alone living in that pigsty of a house, and can begin to live a life that any child her age should be living. Luckily, just a few weeks after her mom was taken to prison, she was allowed by the court to come and live with us. She isn't related in any way to my dad, and she's only related to me because of my mother. Honestly, I've barely been around Sam at all, yet she is still my little sister. For a little bit, I was sure my dad and grandma would be against me letting her come and live with us, but they understood that Sam didn't do anything wrong and was in the same shoes as me, so they let her become a part of our family. To be honest, for a little bit, I was thinking of having Sam put into a foster home as well, since I don't really know all too much about her. But I really don't want my little sister to be alone anymore like her mom was doing to her. This might just be a part of my ego, but she really had nobody else around to help her. I had my dad and my grandma back when I was abandoned, but Sam has nobody else but me now. I'm still not sure if the decision I've made in having Sam come and live with us is right or not, but after putting a lot of thought into it, I'm sure never going to regret it. Currently, Sam is going back to elementary school again. And since she now has us for a family, she's coming home from school smiling every day. I know that I don't have a lot of experience being a big sister or an adult at this point, but I want to take what all I do know and use it to make sure she has a good life for herself here. I also want to make sure to thank both my dad and my grandma for understanding me and letting Sam come stay with us. It is because of them, after all, that I was able to become the responsible woman I am now, and have learned how to both communicate and trust people. I hope that by having a proper family around her, Sam will be able to learn how to become a woman just like I did, and will be forever happy because of it. Peter, this is about Sky and what I think she should be learning. Do you think that you and I can talk about it one more time?
Huh? Why?
Well, she's only 3 years old, and right now there are 3 things she's learning about, right? I don't think we should be trying to teach her many more things right now because she's still so young, so I wanted to rethink the plan. It doesn't even look like she's having any fun learning right now as it is.
I told you this before, we need to teach her sooner rather than later. Back when I was around her age, I was learning about all sorts of things, and that's the reason why I'm currently working for a very amazing company.
And I'm sure that's the case for you. But I don't think it's good to force her to do things that she's obviously not liking at the moment. She's already told me before that she doesn't like going to learn piano. I think we should let up a little bit on this whole teaching her everything so soon in life thing.
I'm sure that within no time her attitude will change regarding piano. She's just 3 years old after all, and she's got a lot of time to start enjoying it. So stop getting all worked up over it, okay? Also, you're supposed to be the one in charge of caring for her if she's feeling bad since you're her mother after all.
But it's not just her saying she doesn't want to go because she doesn't feel like it. I don't think she likes being forced to go.
Would you please just throw that spoiled view that you have about everything away? Sky is not you. I get that you're both girls, but she'll also have my genes, so she'll be alright.
Don't say that.
I'm just being honest. We were supposed to be having a boy anyway. Then they would have been completely like me, and then we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. But instead, you kept on telling my mom that it might be a girl, and for a while, my mom didn't even want to see you for that.
Well, at the time, Sky was still in my belly, so there was no telling if she was a boy or girl without an ultrasound. And when we did go and get that ultrasound, the doctor told us that Sky was a girl, so I don't understand why your mom continued to say she was a boy that whole time. Anyway, we don't need to talk about what happened then anymore. What I want to focus on here is not forcing Sky to do things she doesn't enjoy. She happens to like drawing pictures and making things with her hands.
Are you trying to tell me that any of those things will lead to anything in our future? Oh man, don't tell me that you want her to start learning about drawing and painting pictures more now. I will not have any kid of mine make a fool out of themselves when their older selves are trying to make a career drawing stupid pictures.
Then why are you having her learn to play the piano? Playing an instrument is another form of art.
Listen to me, if a woman does not learn how to play the piano, then they're a failure from the start. All my female coworkers all know how to play the piano, and even you can play the piano, right?
And that's because I play the piano for my class at school.
Look, it can be plenty useful when it comes to work.
And when it comes to drawing and making crafts, those two things can also be useful when it comes to work. Sky is still very young, and who knows what kind of potential she has. I think forcing her to do the things we want her to do is not the best course of action right now.
She's 3 years old, okay? She is not worried about the things that you're all scared of.
I think she is, though. And very soon here, she's going to be 4.
Who cares? She's so young right now that by the time she's an adult, she'll just forget about ever feeling upset or scared.
I'm sure she won't remember all the feelings she's having right now. But I don't want her only memories from this point in time to be those of sadness and discomfort.
You really do sound like a preschooler right now. You don't have to be so sensitive about these things, so just give it a break.
Don't make fun of me. I am being serious about all of this. Also, Peter, when it comes to the way you treat Sky, you're very strict. When she acts a little bit differently from what you want, you ask her to take a time out in the closet. And when I'm not looking, you yell at her, don't you?
It's her fault for not listening to me.
I'm not sure how many more times I need to say this, but Sky is only 3 years old.
Well, my mom is getting on me now about having her try to start learning everything, so I'm not gonna let her quit piano class or anything else. Now would you please stop taking away my time with all this boring crap?
This is not boring crap. I understand that she is still very childish, so we don't have to be all that worried yet. But even kids have a mind of their own and a will.
Right now, I'm going back to work. If you still have complaints about what I'm doing, then you bring me some evidence stating that my way of raising Sky is not good enough for you and her. And then you'll get all the proof printed out for me and place it in a big folder and I'll have a look later, I guess. I'm gonna be late today.
All right.
By the way, my mom was pissed. From what she told me, you were slacking off with the cleaning today, weren't you?
Sky hasn't been feeling too well today.
Well, it's not like she has a fever or anything. You should have just left her with my mom.
I don't really want to say this, but I don't think Sky really likes your mom. She always yells at her about every little thing. And at times she'll start making fun of Sky and call her an idiot.
That's because you're not disciplining Sky enough. All you have to do is keep your daughter in line and then we'll stop having to yell at her all the time.
All Sky was doing one time was running around in the yard and your mom yelled at her. She yelled at her saying women don't run and that women shouldn't be laughing so loudly. I think your mom is being way too strict with her. It's like your mom is still living in the early 1900s or something. The way she's yelling at our daughter to act like she has to be this perfect woman and that she can't do things boys her age do.
My mom happens to be old, so we have to be respectful of that. Also, my mom happens to be in the flower arranging and tea parties, so she's a very ladylike woman.
I think your mom should really be getting herself someone that can help her. Have you guys even been telling your dad about the fact that I'm going over there to clean? Before this, your mom was going all crazy in front of your dad about how I had to go home one time to take care of Sky. Does she realize that as Sky continues to get older, I'm going to have to be home more often? It's already becoming a bit difficult for me to be over there cleaning all the time.
My mom just happens to have her own way of thinking. All she's been trying to do is retrain you so that you'll be a better woman and a better wife for me, all because you were never raised very properly to begin with.
Never raised properly to begin with?
Look, both your parents happen to be low-life scum, right? I get that you were able to make it into college, but they never raised you all the way that women should be raised. I suppose that has to do with them never going to any universities themselves and not working any jobs.
Huh? Is that what you've thought of them?
What? You actually thought that you were raised properly this whole time?
I've never thought about the way I was raised. I've just respected my parents for who they are and have always thought I had a fun and energetic childhood.
Oh, dang. Everyone around you was the same level as you mentally, so you never knew. Well, in my case, both my parents are from Harvard, and my dad happens to work for the same kind of large and powerful company that I do. Sorry about that. To some lowlife like you, all of this is just way too high level for you, huh?
You really are a dick, Peter.
You think of me as just one because you're such a lowlife yourself, right? That's all. Now, all I want is for you and the brat to listen to my mom and I, that's all. Or would you rather have me throw you both away?
Do you think I'd never choose to divorce you?
A brainless wife like you would never be able to choose divorce if you knew what was good for yourself. Do you really want to make your life harder by becoming a single mother? You already got a nice house right now. All you gotta do is clean and take care of the girl the right way.
I'm done with you. I'm not going to think about you anymore.
Go right ahead. I would rather you not think about me. All you need to do is take care of the brat and do the chores for myself and the parents. If you do those things, then I won't complain.
Peter, Sky and I are leaving your house.
Huh? Leaving my house? What are you talking about?
I'm saying we're getting a divorce.
Is this all because my mom has been getting on you about how you're raising our daughter again? I asked her to do that. I said, let a fire under Alicia's butt for me, would ya?
So that's why she came over to the house. But this isn't just because of your mom. This has to do with you being a constant dick as well.
And that's why you want a divorce now? You really are such a moron. Have you ever been thinking about how you're gonna live after you leave me?
I have thought about it, and that's why this divorce is happening.
Oh, is that so? Then you leave Sky here and go?
You wouldn't be able to take care of her yourself. All you'd do is talk to her every so often, and outside of that, the rest of the time you'd be yelling at her. You have no idea how to raise a child. You haven't been doing it with her so far.
Oh, I would just feel terrible for her staying in the house while you take all your things and leave her here with such depressing memories. So that's why my mom will take her.
And another reason why I want this divorce is because I don't want Sky being raised by you or your mom. All you guys do is yell, 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 trying to scare her into doing what you guys want. I have asked you many times before to stop all of that, yet you guys never listened to me. Just recently, when she wasn't able to finish all of her food, you pulled her hair out in anger.
Well, it's not like she got hurt by that. Don't you think it's her fault for acting out of line in the first place?
When it comes to kids, they are allowed to be a little out of line at that age. And this isn't about her having been hurt by that or not, because having one's hair pulled out sure as hell does hurt.
Shut up. If you want a divorce, then be my guest. But I happen to be that brat's father, so I am not giving up my custody of her. I'm the one who gets to decide how she's raised and what she learns. A low-life, no-good idiot woman like you doesn't get a say in any of that.
You guys are the low-life jackasses. Do you not even know your own parents?
Huh? Jackasses? You're the jackass, being born from two parents that resemble trash cans.
Then that makes you and your parents worse than trash, right? You're not even your dad's real child. You were born from some parasitic woman who manipulated him.
You're telling me that I'm not my dad's kid? What are you going on about now?
While I've been over at your parents' house every week cleaning it for them, I found your birth certificate. It was written right there. Your mom is really your mom, but your dad? I don't think so.
Stop trying to make up such weak lies to me.
I'm not lying, Peter. If you really want to believe that what I'm saying right now is a lie, then go and check with your mom about it really quick. I've already handed that birth certificate of yours to your dad.
Alicia, come to my parents' house right now. You come here right now and tell my dad that my mom never cheated on him, okay?
I have no reason to go there anymore.
If you don't come here and fix this for us right now, my parents are gonna get a divorce.
I don't care about that. Your parents have nothing to do with me. Right now, I want you to be thinking about this divorce. When are we going to meet and talk about the divorce in person?
Are you being serious right now?
You think I'd be lying about all of this? I am very serious.
I can't think about our divorce right now, okay? I'm starting to hear about how I might be the child of a man my mom cheated on my dad with.
Well, it sucks that you so happen to be a bastard child then. But that's just how things are now, right? You saw the paperwork.
But this can't be.
Then go get some DNA tests done. Then you'll be given the most clear answer in the results.
Dad already said that he's gonna look into it.
I'm sure. He was already a bit suspicious of your mom cheating on him back in the day. When they had first gotten married, they would get into fights about it. That's what he was telling me anyway. Your so-called dad. Now, remember how you were calling my parents jackasses? Who do you think has the real jackass parents now?
I won't say anything about how Sky is raised now, okay? You can raise her any way you want.
And?
I just want you to come back, and then I want you to go and tell my dad that you fabricated all my birth certificate and stuff and that it was all a lie. And then my dad would stop fighting with my mom over this, and then they can all stay together.
If your dad would be able to trust such an obvious lie like that from me, then he shouldn't be thinking about divorce right now. I think your dad has been thinking about all of this for a while now, and this is his perfect chance.
I get that, but I don't want things to end like that.
I don't care how you feel about them, and I'm sure he feels the same way. Another thing, I didn't choose to get this divorce over you wanting to raise Sky like your slave alone. Of course, the number one reason is making sure that she is raised with respect to herself. But you making fun of my parents by calling them lowlifes and the way you have handled things between your mom and I are also reasons why I want this divorce. You can say that I'm allowed to raise Sky however I'd like now, but I am not going back to you.
But up until now, we've all been living so well together, right?
I wouldn't call that living well. That was just Sky and I putting up with your moms and your crap this whole time. But we're not doing that anymore.
Dad just told me that I'm the kid of the mailman that always used to come to this house. I don't want to be known as that dude's kid.
So you're still going on about your parents' situation? All right then. Tell me what's so bad about being the son of a mailman. That's a pretty good job if you ask me.
I cannot be compared to such a lowlife. I am not his kid. You actually think I'm gonna believe that a guy that's like that has DNA inside of me?
Nobody really cares whether you like the truth or not right now. And here's the thing, I am really sick and tired of you talking about people like him in that way. Before you and I got married, you never spoke about others that way. But the moment you and I became husband and wife, you started judging people based on their jobs and who their parents are. And I'm sure you've been aware of just how rude some of the things you've said have been, right?
Well, after you married me and you became a part of this family, you know? I would never talk with you about things like that when you were just a girlfriend, so stop nitpicking me already.
From what I've seen, you deserve to be nitpicked. And honestly, I think it's your turn to be judged. I'm sure it's all fun and games making fun of other people and their parents. But how does it feel to be made fun of yourself when your mom is a cheating whore and you're a bastard child? Next time you want to try and judge other people's parents like that and make fun of them, think about who your parents are first.
Alicia, just come back here for the time being. My mom wants to apologize to you even, please.
Have you been listening to me, Peter? I already said that you and I are getting divorced. So why the hell would I listen to what you want me to do anymore?
No, I don't want a divorce.
Well, it's too late. I'm getting the divorce whether you like it or not. Even if it takes me months, even if I need to take this to court, I'm divorcing you.
Don't make me look bad like this.
You don't want to look bad? Well, if you don't want that, then perhaps you should have done a better job making yourself look decent. I'm really happy that I'm finally on my way out of this relationship to you.
Up until now, I've been living such a good life. If a divorce happens, all the people are gonna start thinking that something happened. They'll all want to know about it. I don't want to live with being divorced.
Oh, come on now, Peter. You're making a big deal out of something most people don't care about. But I'm sure this means a huge deal to you, considering you like to make fun of other people and their parents all the time. You've finally come around to realizing that you were the one raised improperly by two low-life parents. From there, Peter went and had a DNA test done on himself, and it was proven that his dad, sure enough, was not his real father. I thought it was already clear that he wasn't that man's son, but to Peter, that birth certificate wasn't enough, and he had to go that extra mile to make himself upset. Because of what was found out, Peter's dad ended up cutting ties to both his mom and him and leaving the house for good. This then led to the two getting a divorce, and once again, Peter was left having to focus on the divorce with me. We talked one more time about it, but having learned that he really was a bastard child, he had given up on himself and told me we could indeed get the divorce. I'm not really sure what ended up shocking him the most. Was it the fact that he learned that the man he had always bragged about being the son of wasn't really his father? Or was it that the wife he had always picked on finally divorced him? Well, whichever one it was, he sure has no strength to stand up for himself anymore, and went along with everything I wanted in the divorce. Perhaps he gave me full custody of Sky in the end because his parents were divorced now and they wouldn't be able to watch her for him. I never told this to Peter, but in my eyes, there is nothing wrong with him being the child of that mailman. And the fact that he called the man that was fooled into raising him his dad was not his fault and was totally warranted. But Peter probably doesn't care what I think about it all now because his parents are divorced and there's no going back. I just hope he doesn't take this so poorly for so long, as he's really too old to be worrying about what's happening to his mom and dad's relationship. He's out of their house now, and what they fight over has nothing to do with him whatsoever. But I suppose when you base your whole personality off of picking on others and on your parents being these two upstanding people, it must really hurt to know the truth. I'm not sure how he's going to go about living his life now in such pain, but I don't really care. As long as he continues to pay the child support, then I'm not going to complain. I think things will go fine for Sky and I, as long as he doesn't bother us about anything besides giving us money ever again. When it comes to myself, I have taken Sky and moved back into my parents' house. In order to bring in more money for my daughter and I've begun working more days each week as a teacher, which has led to me not being around my daughter as much. But because both my parents are still home to be around and care for her, she's able to live a fun and happy life. It's really starting to feel as though things are looking bright again for us. Seeing that life can be this good for us now really makes me regret not taking Sky away from that life with her fear-inducing grandma and dad a lot sooner. I understand that I'm not the perfect mother or anything, but I'm going to try my hardest to create an environment which inspires growth and learning for Sky, instead of one that only asks for one to listen and obey without ever thinking. I'm only thinking about my daughter and her smile from now on, and that's how I'm going to go about raising her.
Davis, you told me that you'd be coming home earlier tonight, right?
I'm sorry about that. There's a dinner that I'll have to go to tonight. Do you mind if I'm home early tomorrow?
A dinner? You mean you're going out for drinks again tonight?
Drinking is also a very important part of my job. Honestly, I didn't even want to go tonight.
Then why didn't you tell them that tonight you already had plans and couldn't go? Last week you were out for more than half the week drinking, right?
I had work and some people that I needed to meet up with then.
I happen to have work as well, but you don't see me going out to drink every night.
Well, you and I have very different expectations that we need to meet. Don't act like the two of us are equals here. You also happen to be a woman, right? You don't get invited out to have drinks as often as men do.
Are you going to be coming home earlier than me tomorrow?
I will, probably.
Not probably, right. I have some things I'd like to talk with you about. I've been asking you to come home so that we can chat about things for a while now, right?
Then why not talk with me now? I'll listen to what you have to say to me while I eat. But don't call me or anything like that, okay? You wouldn't want anyone around me hearing that nasally voice of yours, right?
So you know I'm going to be upset with you then?
Whenever you say you have something you want to talk with me about, that usually means that you're upset about something with me.
Then I'll tell you what's on my mind. We are in $800 worth of debt from last month's bills. And this month, we'll be getting into $1,000 worth of debt.
Wait, are you kidding me? Why is that happening to us?
That's because of you and your mom, Davis.
Huh? You're blaming my mom and I for that?
First of all, you go out too often to go out drinking every night. If you were just using your money to do all of that, then I wouldn't be complaining right now. But for about half the month, you are borrowing money from me in order to go out and drink even more often, right? I would really like you to stop putting us in debt with your drinking habit.
Look, I have to do that to maintain good relations at work. You can't blame me for something I must do.
If it was really for work, then the company would be covering the cost, right? But it's not for work.
Well, there are times when I've got to take a little break from work by going out to drink, you know?
Well, maybe you can talk to your boss next time and ask him to have the company cover your drinking breaks as well. Or better yet, just stay on the clock while you go and drink, so that way you're at least being paid to do it.
I can't ask something like that. I'm not in that kind of position right now.
Then when are you going to go out drink like that? Please only use your money for it. I do not like looking at our debt growing bigger and bigger every month due to you going out every night to drink. And then there's the money you've been sending to your mom. It should only be $300 a month, but recently it's gone up to $500, and this month $600, right?
I can't help any of that. Things are starting to go up in price now, so it's costing her more money to pay for herself.
From the looks of it, your mom loves going to play slots though.
What's wrong with going out to gamble occasionally? That's one of the only things that gives her joy in her old age.
I am not sending her money every month so that she can gamble it away. Tell her to settle down a little over there. Just the other day, your mom was calling for me to stop by the casino on my way home from work. Did you know that? She wanted another 100 from me.
My mom really loves those slots, okay? She must have been winning that day. Or perhaps since she was asking for more money, she wasn't winning.
I don't care about her winning or losing. Honestly, this has all gotten a little too much out of hand for my taste. The reason I'm giving her money in the first place is because she said she needed more money for food and bills. I do not like that going towards her gambling addiction. Can you do something about that, please?
Just don't think about her gambling it away then. Think of it as her putting money towards keeping her brain healthy and by thinking about numbers.
Well, there are other less expensive things she could be doing then to keep her brain healthy. If she was using her own money to do all of that, I would not care. But she is using my hard-earned money to go to the casino. If she continues to gamble it all away, then sooner or later we'll be out of money as well. Then it will be us that can't live our lives the way we are right now. No drinking for you, and no food at home for any of us.
But even though we're in a little bit of debt right now, we're still able to live our lives, right?
That's because I'm having to use the money I made when I was single to pay for that debt off.
Wait, is that right? Now that you've said that, you always have been so serious about your future. How much money do you have left in your savings?
You think I'm going to tell you that now? No way. It's my money from before I married you, and I don't want you to be using it any.
You and I are married though, so you should be willing to share your money with me now.
Well, you don't see me asking to use any money you saved up before we got married. You already told me before why we shouldn't be asking one another about it anyway, right? Because you didn't think money in our private savings needed to be shared with one another.
Did I really say something like that before?
Yes, you did.
Then how much money have we put away into our savings since we've been married?
Right now, there is around $18,000 in there.
What? That's how much there is in there? Hold on, then we're nowhere close to being in debt yet. We still have plenty of money to work with.
Are you freaking kidding me right now, Davis? That money is being put away for our future, in case we choose to have kids or if there is an emergency. Don't you even dare touch any of it.
We've only been married for 2 years, right? I don't think that we need to be getting all too worked up about our future just yet.
I like to think that we haven't been saving as much money as we could be right now. I mean, you and I are both working full-time right now, so we should have at least double the savings by now.
You think so?
Anyway, for the time being, I want you to rethink giving your mom any more money. And as for the amount of times you go out to drink, I'd like you to cut back a bit more.
Alright then. I'll have a chat about this with my mom then.
Please do so. If by next month things aren't getting any better, then I'll give your mom a call and have a chat with her directly.
Hey Stella, don't you start picking on my mom now.
What?
I just gotten a call from her where she was crying. You started being real strict with her about the money that we give her each month, right?
I just asked her to start working on saving up some of her own money before we send her anything else. That's all I said to her. None of that was meant to be strict. I just wanted to be clear to her how I felt about her spending our money like that. If anything, though, she was the one that was starting to get all heated about everything while I was talking to her.
Well, right now my mom feels as though things are a matter of life or death. She's already having to use up a couple of her coupons to get any food at the grocery store. If we stop sending her any money, she's not going to be able to support herself anymore. She felt as though you were making things seem as though they'd be better for you if she wasn't around.
I don't think I ever said anything as heartless as that to her, though.
Well, everyone takes words differently. But here's the thing. Do you really find it okay to make my mom suffer by not sending her as much money anymore per month?
I was just trying to figure out what all she was using her money on each month. She gets money from her Social Security every month as well, right? I would like to know just how much she needs from us each month in order to stay afloat. And that's without including the amount she wants to spend on the slot machines. If she is really having issues with money, then perhaps we need to talk with her about ways to better save.
She is my mom, Stella, so you need to be more kind to her when asking things like that. And when it comes to money, be more generous, please. We're not gonna make her live on the edge every and each month just by giving her the bare minimum. You were also the one that said earlier that you don't want to have my mom living with us, right? If you don't start giving her enough money each month to make it by comfortably, then she might have to move. You understand that, right?
Well, before we start talking about having her move in with us, perhaps she needs to give up on gambling. How about that?
This month she hasn't even been going to the casino that much. That's what she told me. And that was after I told her to calm down a little on the slots. She listened to what I asked, so you can't continue to be so cruel to her.
When I was on the phone with her today, it seemed like she was at the casino.
Maybe you just happened to call her on one of the rare days when she was at the casino is all. Anyways, I'm gonna go to my mom's house today and comfort her after what you did to her. I'll be having dinner with her as well.
Fine. But could you please tell your mom that I wasn't trying to make her feel bad or anything today? And after that, could you please ask her how much she's spending on slots each month? And how much she actually needs for necessities?
She's not gonna know all that if I ask her.
Then have her start to write down how much she's spending so that we know.
Alright, fine. If I have a chance to, I'll ask. But don't get your hopes up. She's already in shock right now because she's afraid we'll stop sending her money.
Then tell her that we'll only be sending her the amount she needs each month. That's why I need to know how much that amount is. Please get that information from your mom for me.
Stella, do you have any idea where I am right now?
What? At this time, you should be at work, right?
I'm at the hospital.
The hospital? Did something happen to you?
Because of how mean you've been to my mom, she's suffering neurosis right now. She was acting all strange, so I decided to take her into the emergency room.
How does that have to do with me being mean to her? And since when have I been mean to her?
Behind my back, you've been complaining about all sorts of things to my mom, right? It's your fault we can't save any money. You've been taking everything out on her when she's not to blame for anything.
I have not been complaining to her like that.
Ugh, you can stop lying about this already. I need to divorce a total witch like you. Your behavior is ruining both my mom's life and mine. And of course, I'm gonna get a settlement from you as well for mentally damaging my mom. You better get ready for when my lawyer gets here.
Ah, so that's what this is about. That's actually quite entertaining.
Huh? Are you actually that screwed up in the head or something? My mom has gone neurotic because of you.
If she's suffering from neurosis now, she can't gamble anymore, correct?
That's right. She's no longer having the ability to enjoy the one thing that made her happy. Because of you, my mom has no reason to live anymore. That's why I'm gonna make you pay for that. Until my mom is mentally stable again, you're gonna have to pay for her to see a therapist and pay for all her other needs as well. I'll make you. And when you get home today, you can sign that divorce form from me immediately.
I'll sign that form for you. But you're going to be paying for all you've done as well.
Huh? What have I done? What do I have to pay for?
I want you to pay for not being able to take responsibility for what you said to me before. After this, there better be no crying about not wanting this divorce anymore.
I would never ask to stay with you any longer than I have to.
We'll see about that then. Let's get to some of the facts then. Right now, I can see your mom going into the casino to play to make some more plays in the slot machine.
What are you going on about? She's with me right now laying in the hospital bed.
All right, Davis. Then can you please tell that to my friend who has also seen your mom going into that casino to gamble some more? I'm not sure she's going to trust you on that one. And actually, you know about how your mom always likes to call and ask me to stop by to drop off some more money for her while she's playing? My friend has seen that happen all the time as well, and tells me every time now the moment she sees your mom going in and out of there.
Huh?
Recently, you've been going back to your mom's house pretty often, right?
That's because she asked for me to go home to her.
And what you're really trying to say is that you're going out for more drinks, right? You're not able to get any more money from me directly in order to do that. But while I'm not looking, thinking you're heading to your mom's house, you reach into my purse and take $100 from me, right?
I'm not doing something like that.
I knew it was happening, so I made sure to plant $100 bills in there in order to lure you in more. Also, you always tell me to be more kind to your mom when it comes to handling her money for her gambling addiction, right? Well, I didn't ask you to look into how much your mom is spending each month, so that I had an idea of how much she actually needed. You then forced me to have to end up calling her again, because you never actually did anything I asked you. And when I did, I never thought you had made such a devious plan as that.
What are you talking about? What plan? I have no idea what any of this is about.
You thought you could get even more money from me by divorcing me and getting a settlement, right? And normally in a divorce, the couple has to split their properties as well, right? Well, you wanted both part of the monies I've been saving up, and the settlement for claiming I was the one that caused your mom to become mentally ill. Something tells me you went through all this effort because you had to look at how much money was in my private savings account. Is that true? Is that why you planned all of this out?
Yeah, I haven't looked at that account.
Well, let's just say you didn't know. I'm sure there are other things that will get you to confess. I'll divorce you like you're wanting. I've been wanting one myself ever since you started taking money from my purse like that. But if you think that you can really get a settlement out of me, then show me how you'll legally do that. Bring me that lawyer of yours you said you have ready. Goodbye now, Davis.
Stella, please, come back to the house.
I don't have any reason to be going back there. I've already moved into my new place. And besides, you'll only be living in that house until the end of this month. So shouldn't you be working at getting ready to move out of there?
I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
About what, Davis?
About how I made you look bad and got a divorce from you.
Just for what? What about for all the money of mine you took to go out and drink every single night? And what about for never helping me fix your mother's spending habits that were terrible? You're not going to apologize for any of that?
I'll apologize for all of that as well, okay? So can you please just find a way to come back to me? I don't want to be divorced anymore.
You're the one that wanted the divorce though, right? And not only were you trying to make me seem like the bad guy, but you also blamed me for your mother's faked mental illness. And we're going to get a settlement from me for that? I don't want you back in my life, you chum.
But at the time, I needed some way to get money.
Did you find out about how your mom has been in debt? You would really choose to get a divorce all because of your mom's debt though? You should have just talked with me about her debt from the moment you found out, and things could have been fine.
I'm sure that would have been the right choice, but I could never bring up the fact that she's in $30,000 worth of debt. And I was thinking that if I brought that up with you, then you would definitely say that you wanted to forget about my mom.
Come on now, Davis. That's not it at all, is it? You just didn't like the idea of me going to your mom anymore to lecture her about not to spend money on her gambling, right? And let's not forget about your spending habits either. You got one good look at the amount of money in my private savings and thought to yourself you wanted a piece of that and thought a settlement would be the best way to get it, right? That's why things are the way they are right now.
That's not all completely true.
Don't tell me that's not all the truth when you've been trying to get my money this whole time. If I was wrong, then you wouldn't be trying so hard to get back at me right now. If you really wanted that divorce because you didn't like the way I treated your mom, then you wouldn't be asking for me back, would you? Are you going to even be able to get a settlement from me now like you were hoping?
I'm sorry.
I will take your apologies, but there will be no forgiveness. You can try your best to stop the divorce, but I'll make sure it gets settled in the courtroom.
But if I'm thrown away by you now, I won't be able to carry on with the rest of my life. And if I go back to my mom's house, then she's gonna make me start to pay for her for sure.
Then don't go back to her.
But I'm gonna lose this house soon. I don't have the money right now to move into a new place right now, so I'm really stuck right now. Also, I can't turn my mom away.
And that's why you're not in need of my help again? I am not your wallet, Davis.
I never said that you were, though.
Bullcrap. This whole time I've been the one having to pay for everything. And when I started to say no to you, you started to steal money out of my purse. All just so you could go out and drink your responsibilities away. I will never forgive you for any of that. I shouldn't have to. But for a while I was going to just let it happen, until you started to blame me saying that I was bullying your mom or something like that.
I'm really, really sorry. I think that I've taken advantage of you multiple times now.
You don't think you've taken advantage of me? You know you have. Anytime I was trying to get you to listen to our financial situation regarding the bills, you never took me seriously. All you did was sit there continuing with those bad habits of drinking and whining. Well, there you have it. This is the fruits of your labor.
I will never go out to drink again, and I'll start to take things seriously about my mom. So please, don't throw me away. I can't pay off all that $30,000 by myself.
I really don't care about you going out to drink or not anymore. You're nothing to me now, so go on ahead and keep it up. You'll be lucky if your liver fails tonight, and you never have to clean up your mom's mess. And if it doesn't, well, just know that you'll have loads of hell to pay.
Hey, come on now. I really love you, Stella, so please don't leave me.
But just the other day, weren't you trying to get a settlement out of me? How can you love someone still, even after trying something like that? You were really hoping that you get at least a small percentage of what's in my saving, but you weren't able to get a settlement from me, and that's why you want me back now. Your plan has failed you, Davis. This is what happens when you love money more than you love your own wife.
I'm so freaking sorry, okay? Forgive me, please. Help me, please. Stella, don't throw a man like me away.
Shut up. You already threw me away weeks ago. You threw me away the moment you started blaming me for your mom becoming mentally ill. If you're going to continue to sit there unable to make up your mind about wanting a divorce or not, causing me to have to keep listening to you cry and beg for money, then I'm going to have a lawyer come to your house and hit you with a restraining order. And then you'll be hit with a settlement. You'll have to pay me for causing you mental harm as well because of all the anxiety I've suffered through. Do you want to have to pay that on top of the settlement I'm already getting from you for stealing my money? If not, then you shut the hell up and let this divorce happen, you freaking baby. After that, Davis went ahead and shut up about the divorce and let it become finalized at the courthouse. There was meant to be a splitting of our properties, but adding in all the money he both got from my private savings account already and the amount he stole from my purse, he only got a few $100. After that, Davis went back to his mom's house and is living with her now. Right now, he's trying his best to pay off all the debt his mother is in, but due to her constant gambling, he's never able to pay anything off. He hasn't been able to go out drinking anymore, and his stress levels have only continued to rise, leading to him having an outburst towards his mother, which I was told about later. Of course, I didn't reply to his message about it, as there's nothing about that man I want to go back to. Honestly, I'm so happy we got that divorce at the time that we did, because I would not want to be around that man while he's having his breakdown. I think to myself sometimes why I stayed with him for as long as I had, when he did nothing but cause me trouble. Of course, a part of me loved him still, and I wanted to make sure that our family was going to be okay. But considering I was the only one trying to have a good life, there was no point in continuing on with him. Also, seeing him start to steal money from his own wife made me want to throw up. So I am thankful for every day I get to wake up in a bed that doesn't have his alcohol-filled self in it. From now on, I'm going to take some time for myself and use it to make sure my heart and mind can heal. I will learn to grow from what's happened this time, so that the next time I find a man who I want to marry, I know what red flags to watch out for.
Nika, before I get home this afternoon, I'd like you to have the whole house cleaned up. I noticed that in the bathtub there was some mold forming as well. So I'd like for you to have that all bleached and ready to go as well by the time I'm home.
Sorry about that. I'll make sure to get all that mold out of there today. But I'm sure if I clean right now, things will only start to get dirty again.
Why would that happen?
Well, the kids are playing a lot during the day, and it'll lead to things getting all messy again. No matter how often I clean up after them, things just go back to being messy again within an hour.
And cleaning all that mess up is your job, right?
I can clean all I want, but things aren't going to change just from me cleaning. The moment I clean, things just become a mess again.
Then how about you tell the kids to stop making such a mess all the time? You're being too kind to those two. Kay is 5 years old now, and Kyle is 3, right? They're at the age now where you can tell them to stop making a mess and they'll understand that.
I understand that they're both getting older. Kay might listen to me, but a 3-year-old like Kyle most definitely will not. The moment I try telling him to stop doing something, he'll think that I'm just being loud and won't understand that all I want is to keep things tidy is all.
Well, if you make him cry, then I'm sure he'll listen to you then. I think you're being too kind to those two when you need to be putting your foot down. You and I are their parents. You yell at them to do the right things, and if they don't listen to you, then you ground them.
I can't just go and yell at them like that. There are times where they might even start to cry over things like that outside.
Well, you can't be worried about that. You just need to ignore all their whining and crying and let them learn that we will not be swayed by it. And who cares if they want to cry outside?
I just don't want other people thinking anything's wrong here. And leaving our kids outside crying like that isn't a good look for either of us as parents. The number one worst thing you can do to a child is both yell at them and then ignore how they react to that.
Kyle is only 3 years old. He won't care that you're ignoring him after being yelled at. He'll forget about it all later.
This isn't about him forgetting it all or not. He has a heart, and so does Kay.
Well, if you're gonna keep acting like you have no way of putting them in line, then you're just gonna have to deal with them both doing as they please around you. I just wanna make sure you have the house clean by the time I'm home. I'm tired after having to work every day of the week. Yet recently, there have been plenty of days where I have to come home to a dirty house, and there not being any food on the table yet. If you don't start to get all those things done, then I'm gonna get really upset.
I'm sorry.
All the wives around me seem to be doing everything properly. I was shown by one of my coworkers the room that his wife has cleaned up for him in his house. Their place looks amazing and beautiful every day that he gets home from work. I'm talking about Carson's wife, by the way. They happen to have a kid and a cat as well, yet the house is amazingly well kept. Isn't that wonderful? Yet look at the house I have. 2 kids always making messes, and you never being around to clean any of it up on time. I have no idea why you can't do even the most simple of things like those other wives can.
I am trying my best right now.
And you trying your best is only worth half of what a wife can normally do. What the hell are you doing all day? I mean, you're at the house all day long, aren't you? I bet you just sit around and nap all day, right?
I'm not. I'm trying my hardest over here to keep this place in check.
Then this must mean you're just not cut out to be a housewife like the rest of the women in this town. Ugh. I wish I would have found myself a better woman to marry.
Please don't say something like that. Right now, I have Kate going to preschool for half the day, and come next year, I can get both her and Kyle to go. As of right now, having kids in the house and a list of chores as big as long as you've asked me for, it's not always easy handling both of these things at the same time.
And I'm telling you that all those other wives are doing it. How many times are you going to have me say this? You really are no good. Well, whatever. My break is almost over now, so there's nothing left that I can say now. I just want the house cleaned up today by the time I get home. If you can't do that for me today, then you really will no longer be considered a human in my house.
Baylor, since when did you leave the house? If you're going to leave the house, please let me know. I was going to ask that you take care of the kids for a little bit today.
Huh? I had the day off work today.
Well, I understand that. Hence why I wanted you to take care of them for me today. Since when was the last time you took them to play with them? That's why I was talking with you about how on your next day off, you should take them somewhere to go and play with you, right?
That was something you were hoping for. I never said I cared about it. Stop trying to make everything about you, all right? I happen to have plans of my own going on.
I was never going to ask you to take any of the chores, but you should at least be helping me out with the kids, Baylor. I think that these past few months you haven't been doing a good enough job of being their father.
The reason for that is because both the chores and taking care of the kids is the housewife's job, right? Who is it that's allowing you to live in such a nice life again?
I am very thankful that you're making the money that allows our family to live happily. But it's not just because of you that we all get to have this life, right? I've been the one doing all the chores and taking care of our kids, and that's led us all being happy and healthy as well. You're not thankful for any of that?
What are you going on about? In this world, you are worth nothing to those of us that actually contribute something to society.
You're saying I'm worth nothing to you then?
That's right. What the hell has a housewife like you done? You think by just sitting around the house all day, you're making money?
I happen to think that being a housewife is a very important job. We don't get to take breaks and work 24/7 to make sure everything around the house is going well.
You really think that's a good enough reason for being deemed important? But look, you do get breaks, right? You're sleeping at night, and you have time during the day to just sit around. I would really like you to stop comparing yourself to those of us that actually have to work our butts off in the real world, okay?
But when I go to sleep, there are always times that I need to wake up and tend to whatever the kids want from us.
You're sleeping perfectly fine, Anika. So tell me, what was that again? You have to wake up at night to help the kids? I don't think an excuse like that is gonna cut it for someone who doesn't work. To everyone looking at you from the outside, your hard work is nothing more than child's play.
You really don't have to talk about what I do like that.
If I don't tell you how it is, then you'll never understand. Listen, if you actually want me to listen to you, then get a job and make some money for once. Show me that you're not a total waste of my time.
I'm already having to care for our kids all by myself, Baylor. How am I supposed to get a job when I have to care for them? If I find a job, then I'll need someone to watch after Kyle for part of the day. Can't you understand that right now I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place?
Well, if you're stuck, then you shut up and do as you've been told. Take care of the chores of the kids. That's all you're good for. You don't want me having to throw you out of this house, right? You wouldn't want to have to take those two with you and give them a life of poverty, right?
You're telling me that you'd throw both our kids out along with me.
Well, if you want to leave, I don't see why they wouldn't go along with you. Honestly, getting rid of the three of you would make me very lucky.
I see. You really have changed from the Baylor I once knew. Or perhaps this is how you've always been and I was just blinded by love.
What are you talking about now? This is all because you keep running your mouth about things you have no idea about, right? If you just shut up and do what you're supposed to do, then I'd never complain.
All right. I won't bother you about anything else now.
Doing that for me would be a huge help. I'm the one that's using my time and energy to keep you three around, after all. And that also means I don't want you forgetting that I could throw you three away whenever I'd like.
Baylor, I'm taking the kids with me and leaving, and we will not be coming back here.
Huh? You're all leaving? What are you talking about?
I cannot live with you any longer. You never do any of the chores or care for our kids, and you just go out and do whatever you like instead. And when the house is just a little bit messy, you throw a fit like the rest of the world is going to end because of it. If you are so upset by the house being messy, then you help clean it up instead of being a witch all the time.
Taking care of the house is your job, though, right? I'm not making you do everything there. You just hate having to work is all.
I did not marry you to become your slave, Baylor. I don't need a husband like you, and the kids don't need a father like you. I really think that after today, you'll find a way to fix the monster you've become. I want you to learn just how nice of a wife I was for you after I'm gone.
You? Why are you throwing a fit now? Don't think that a woman like you with no merit can start speaking her mind like that. It's your job to take care of the kids and the house. You're a housewife, after all. You can start to complain when you get a job, you idiot.
I am working, and that's why I've been complaining. So would you stop being a frickin' dick to me now? I have been working a job for months now, Baylor. When you started to call me useless and all that, I went and found myself a job. You told me you'd never listen to me unless I had myself a job, and so that's what I did.
There's no way you're working a job right now. You told me because you have Kyle in the house half the day, you can't go out to work, right?
I did say that, and that's why I got myself a job working remotely. Of course, I can't care for Kyle all the time while working, so I have my mom come during the day to help out.
I never heard anything about this!
That's because I never told you.
What the hell are you doing hiding things like that from me? Why did you decide to get a job without asking? What do you think you're doing running away from my support?
I want to get away from relying on you, and that's why I got this job. I want to get a divorce from you.
A divorce? What kind of bullcrap is that? You think because you work remotely now you can take care of two kids on your own? I'm sure you're just making pocket change with that kind of job, right?
Not at all. Right now, I'm making $2,500 a month with this work. That's enough to get you to shut up, right? Of course, there will also be the child support coming from you for these two every month as well. I will be going back to my parents' house for a while, so by having them help me out, I'll have even more time to work and will be making even more money.
Hey, are you really working right now?
That's what I've been telling you. I don't need you to take care of me anymore. I'm taking the kids and leaving this hell. You're not going to complain about that though, right? You said that by having the three of us leave, you'd be lucky, right?
Wait, I'll come home early today. We could take a moment to talk about all of this in person.
You want to talk about things now after learning that this divorce is going to happen? Talking this all over isn't going to change things for you now. I'm going back to my parents' house now. I want out of this place as soon as freaking possible, all right? So give it up and be happy with the luck you had today.
Anika, wait! I'll come home right now. I'm asking you to please wait for me!
Baylor, have you finished signing all that paperwork for me? I have a lot of things to do myself after you're done, so would you please hurry that up and hand it in for me?
Anika, are you really not coming back here?
I asked if you signed those papers or not, Baylor. If you don't get that taken care of soon, I'll have this brought to the courthouse and let my lawyer handle you instead. Is that what you want? That'll all be a lot more trouble for you than it's worth. After all, you were so lucky to have this happen to you.
Anika, please come back. I've made some mistakes.
Too late for that crap, mister. How many years was it that you had me doing all the chores in the house and taking care of both kids on my own? You never once came home to do anything with them for me. And when you found even the tiniest speck of food on the ground or a toy too far away from the kids' play area, you flipped out. And those last few weeks, you went off on me about how I'm nothing to this society and I'm useless.
I want to take all that back. I know now that it's because you were there for me that I got to live a happy life. I was taking advantage of you.
You sure as hell were, you bastard. Always leaving your socks on the floor, and you would never clean up your dishes after you ate. After shaving, you just leave the sink a mess, and after blowing your nose, you just leave your tissue on the counter. You'd make me pay for all the cleaning supplies, and when you were done in the shower, you just leave your towel and dirty clothing on the floor. Which is screwed up considering even the 3-year-old knows how to put his clothing in the laundry hamper for me after a bath. You were the one making your own dang house a mess that whole time.
I'm home to me already. This past week, nobody's been home to clean for me, and my allergies have gone wild.
Then clean the freaking place yourself, asshole.
But I'm tired when I get home from work. After eating something for dinner, I don't have any time.
Well, everyone I know who lives on their own is able to clean up their own place after working. Oh, that's right. You never lived on your own because you never left your parents' house, did you? You had your mom do everything for you because you were useless.
This place is a mess, and all I've been eating is TV dinner, so my stomach is a mess as well. Starting to feel like I'm getting a cold now, too.
Good. And what do you want me to do about all that? You're an adult now, so you handle that yourself. I can't believe your whole life is crashing down around you now, considering nothing ever changed in your life. I mean, I'm worthless to this world, so me leaving with the kids shouldn't have affected you this badly, right?
Please don't pick on me like that now. From now on, I'll work on being a better husband. I'll help with all the chores and raise the kids. So would you please just come home?
Helping with the chores is one thing, but the fact that you're offering to help me raise your dang kids really pisses me off. You were the one that got me pregnant with them. But who cares about all that anyway now? It's not like you were helping out with them would benefit me any. Do you even know how to play with kids?
I do. I can help with them. As long as you teach me what to do, I'll do it.
You need me to teach you how to raise your own kids? Are you not even able to make up games to play with them in your own head? You want to know how I handle all this when I didn't know what to do? I used technology and I looked it all up. You seem to even be more stupid than a housewife like me was.
Don't say things like that.
You said crap like that to me, you frickin' asshole. You're an idiot.
I'm sorry.
Bull. You never did a frickin' thing for this family besides work a 9 to 5, and yet you were the only one allowed to talk. I can't believe I made it as far as I did with you without ever taking you off the face of this planet. It would have been one thing had I just had to do all the chores, but I was tasked with doing all the chores and raising 2 kids all day and night. Do you have any idea how tough that all was?
I never thought doing chores could be that difficult. I had no other choice at the time, right? I had never lived on my own before, so I never had to clean myself.
Don't you freaking dare use that as an excuse. I have been asking you forever to help me out, and yet you never once listened to me and came to my aid.
Because I didn't think you were really being that serious then.
I'm kind of glad you never knew how to do anything at home. Had you known how hard things like chores were, you might have started to thank me for my work and I would have only tried harder. But you just assumed that it was my job to do everything in the house for you. And when one thing was out of line, you went haywire, right?
I had just been wanting you to try a little harder at the time.
I was trying my hardest, dang it! But even with all my effort, you still felt as though you could treat me like a slave and compare me to all those other families who are doing better than us. It made me sad the way you compared me to all of them. I was trying my hardest in order to make both you and the kids happy. Yet you told me I was useless and didn't even mean anything to you.
I'm so sorry about that.
Stop freaking apologizing to me, you idiot! You're supposed to be happy about me taking the kids and leaving you.
I finally started to understand how hard you work for me. Yet, even though I'm now starting to realize your importance to me, you want a divorce? That's so hurtful of you.
Huh? Shut the hell up, you big hypocrite! You said that you would be lucky if I took the kids and left you, so here you freaking go. And I'm not coming back to you now because that would only make you upset again.
I only said that because I was a little pissed off at the time. That wasn't really what I wanted to say.
Whether it was what you wanted to say or not, you hurt me really badly then. You made me think to myself just how stupid I've been for staying married to you and working my life away to try to make you happy. After all the crap you've put me through, don't expect me to ever come back to you ever again.
Anika, I'm really sorry.
Stop it!
I'll change though. I'll become a good husband and a good father. I won't make you take care of everything on your own anymore.
Those words. You told me all those things back when I just had Kay.
What? No way. I really mean all of this now. Starting now, I'm never going to break this promise to you.
Stop, Baylor. You really have my blood boiling now. I don't care that you want me back now. You're only putting on that sad, pouty face in order to get me to come home to you because you know you can't take care of yourself without me. I told you I wouldn't bother you with anything anymore, right? All those apologies, those fake promises to me, they're all garbage. I would never live with a monster like you again, Baylor. I'm cutting ties with your useless ass, and it's going to make the kids and I feel so much happier. A few days after that, Baylor finally gave up trying to get me to come back home to him, and he signed all the divorce papers. He then went and handed it all into the courthouse, and the hell-filled relationship I had with him was over with. Of course, to the kids, he's still going to be their father, but they'll never have to live with a man-child like that again and are safe in my home. After the divorce, Baylor left that pigsty he made for himself and went back to his parents' house. But both of his parents heard about the reason why the divorce had taken place, so the moment he walked into their house, his mom told him to get lost. After that, his mom called me over the phone and apologized for all that her son had done, but I told her to stop all of that. Had she raised her son right and either made him responsible for his chores or kicked him out to live on his own, none of this would have happened to me. But it doesn't really matter to me now what happened in his life, as him and I are no longer married to one another. I've heard that recently, due to the terrible state of the house he's living in, Baylor's allergies have gotten worse and he's no longer able to go anywhere besides work in the house. I ended up getting many texts from him after the divorce about how he was sorry again and he was lonely without me and the kids, so I blocked him and got on with my life of being a mother. I don't give a crap what happens to my ex, just as long as he's able to keep paying child support to me for the next 15 years. That's the only thing I want from him now. Besides that, there will never be another instance of him and I sharing the same moment or anything together. When things come to myself in life after returning to my parents' house with the kids, I went and got myself a new job. Being a remote worker has its ups, but it also has plenty of downs, so I wanted to find a job that was a little more reliable. Right now, the job I found happens to understand the troubles of being a mother quite a lot, so I'm able to be at work as often as I can, while also having the freedom to head home at any moment for the kids. Luckily, with the support of my parents, though, I don't have to do any of that all too often. I am sure there will be plenty of difficult things to come for my family and I, but thankfully those next times will not include a jerk like Baylor. From now on, I'm going to do all that I can to make a home in which both my very important kids and my loving and supportive parents will all be happy, and I don't have to be as stressed as I was before.